What's going on, everyone? 54% of the S&P 500 closed down in the red today, but the market still made a brand new all-time high. At the same time, Bitcoin is gearing up for a break of the 100,000 mark, and there's a lot of exciting action in the market right now. In today's video, we're going to cover everything you have to know that happened today, some great setups to keep on your radar, and towards the end of today's video, we have a pretty interesting big money play that you won't want to miss. But besides that, Tom, we are all set, so let's get right to it.
Yeah, like you said there, the SPY made a new all-time high and Bitcoin almost got there. I was watching it closely towards the end of the day and I was like, wow, we're getting really close to that 100K mark, but ended up rejecting a little bit there right as the market closed. So everybody's really watching the crypto market and they're like, hey, are we going to see that $100,000 push? Let me know in the comments if you think we will. Personally, I think that we'll see it pretty soon, but I'm sure that there's some people out there who are looking for a double top or rejection at this key level. Of course, we know that 100,000 is going to act as key resistance, so keep that in mind. It might be tough to break it. It might take a little bit more than just a good push tomorrow. We might take a few days and it might take a lot of buyers to get through there. And just a quick update, you know, Ripple was actually down today, which was a slight negative in the crypto space, but I will say a 5% down day, considering how much Ripple has moved up lately, isn't really all that bad.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, when you look at the crypto market, it has had a crazy run, especially ever since the election. And I really like how much pressure just cryptos in general are putting on their recent highs. Bitcoin did recently reject at like that 99,800 mark back towards the end of November. And while it pulled back a little bit, it is right back up to that like $99,000 area, which is really good to see. Of course, crypto-related stocks like Coinbase and MSTR are moving in a pretty strong way as well. So continue to keep a very close eye on everything crypto. It has a lot of momentum still with it. And we all know how crazy the crypto side of the market is. When these things move, they really move.
Yeah, they definitely do. Mara was insane today, 3.3%. That's another one to keep your eyes on. Riot is another crypto stock, up 6.67%. There's a couple different ones out there. Even BTBT has been getting a lot of hype. It was up 13% today. Of course, everybody talks about coin and MicroStrategy, though. So let's look at those a little bit harder, Mike. You know, like looking at MicroStrategy on the daily chart, it's been coming down off of this dip, but so far this recovery since it posted this recent low has been pretty good. And as of the past couple days, there's actually a higher low forming, especially when you compare it to that 340 recent low. So looking pretty good on MicroStrategy on the recovery. I'm sure a bunch of people are going to be watching for this one to pop back up to that recent high. There is a bit of resistance though, right around the 418 to 420 mark from the past couple weeks.
Sounds good. So we'll definitely keep that close on the radar. But some other recent news today was this very unfortunate news related to United Healthcare's CEO. And now he was fatally shot in New York City today. So this is devastating. And Tom, what happened here?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, Mike. And Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, ended up getting shot this morning as he was walking out of his hotel. Apparently, a gunman was posted up waiting for him, and there's even videos out there kind of showing how it happened. So, you can check those out on Twitter. We're obviously not going to play those here, but this is a pretty crazy situation. The stock didn't really move all that much, but sometimes you just see some news that just strikes you, and you're like, wow, this is a pretty crazy world that we live in. And whenever a big CEO or just somebody big in the stock world has something happen like this, we have to cover it. And of course, let us know in the comments. A lot of people are making a lot of assumptions with this. The police are saying that it doesn't appear to be a random act of violence. So a lot of people are kind of saying this could be like an assassination or obviously a targeted hit.
Yeah, so very interesting news there and very unfortunate. Looking more at some stock-specific news from today, there were a lot of earnings stocks that continue to crush it from yesterday. Stocks like MRVL, PSTG, and CRM are moving with some serious momentum right now, and they're definitely on the radar for some earnings continuation setups.
Yeah, I'm loving that. MRVL is one of my favorites. It's in the chip sector, 23% on the day. And the best part about this move was that it actually continued after the market even opened today, which was great. It didn't just gap up and do nothing. And we even had a nice surge bot hit today with MRVL as well, taking advantage of this movement. But looking at the daily, MRVL is starting to extend out in a pretty crazy way. And there's even a lot more earnings coming up for tomorrow, Mike. We have Dollar General in pre-market, Build-A-Bear Workshop, TD, which is going to scare a lot of people. And then we have Lululemon and After Hours, Path, Ulta, DocuSign, and GitLab. So quite a bit there in After Hours, Mike. Like, honestly, like Lulu and DocuSign are two of my main watchers.
Yeah, big time. And, even for the stocks that already reported earnings that are still on watch for potential earnings continuations, like when you have stocks that are moving in a big way or stocks that, likely will move in a big way, like you mentioned, like with Lulu and some of these stocks that are yet to report earnings, the main thing when you have momentum-driven price action is just positioning yourself in an advantageous way. Of course, we can all look at stocks like PATH, MRVL, and CRM that did very well today, but like when you have situations like this, the main thing is, of course, it's easy to say, okay, follow the money and ride the trend, but you just have to be willing to adapt and, cut losses in like a way that is just unattached from the stock. For example, like, you could have two people trading the same exact setup, but if one person isn't okay with cutting losses when it's time to cut losses, that's a big problem. And, that type of person will have much different results over the long term as opposed to someone who, cuts losses when it's time to do that. So just keep that in mind with all earnings continuation setups and just any momentum style setup in general.
Yeah, and of course, Mike, whenever we talk about like hot stocks today, and a lot of the big earnings movers, of course, were pretty hot. But looking at my watch list here, there was a lot that didn't report earnings that were also doing pretty well today. Of course, Datadog is one, up 7%. The watch list is great. I mean, there's so many stocks that are up over 3%. It blows my mind. And we even started to see some of these recent hot stocks like Archer start to mount a bit of a recovery today, up 3% and up a heck of a lot more than 3% at the high of day today. I know a lot of people are watching this base being formed here on Archer and they're waiting for the recovery. That's one to look at. And another one would be JOBY, which is, of course, in that air taxi sector as well.
Yeah, these stocks have been crazy lately, and as we all know, Archer has been a big moneymaker over the past month, but it definitely has a lot of work to do if it wants a real shot at a breakout going forward. It's right around that $7 mark, and it does have some heavy resistance overhead, especially up to like that $9.50 to $10 area. So the more pressure this one puts on its highs, the better and stronger the setup becomes, but like I said, it has a lot of work to do. So let's keep that one on the radar as well, but looking at tomorrow's schedule, we are basically in the clear, which is good to see. We do have some non-farm payrolls, unemployment data, and some Michigan consumer sentiment data set to release on Friday, but we have a pretty calm rest of the week in terms of the economic schedule. But we also can't forget that the big man, Jerome Powell, had a speech today, but to be honest, it was pretty lackluster.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest headline of the day for me was that he provided no clues as to which way he's leaning in the short term. To me, honestly, the most interesting conversations that I heard about Powell was they talked about kind of how the jobs numbers, how a lot of times those numbers aren't quite right, and then they come out and they revise them and they're totally wrong. I thought that was a bit interesting how he responded to some of those questions. And then they did talk about crypto a lot as well, of course, considering how hot crypto has been. And some people actually attributed the crypto run today to some of the nice conversations that they were having about crypto. So that could have provided a little bit of fuel maybe for Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and even a few other crypto stocks.
There we go. Well, the market is running hot right now, regardless. As we look at the S&P 500, it is right at its all-time high, and I know we've talked a lot about the historical bullishness associated with the month of December, not only over the past week or so, but even, I would say a couple weeks before that, and we could see that we have some more interesting data today that basically shows that historically speaking, during election years, the S&P 500 has never closed lower when it was up 10% or more at the midpoint of the year. I will admit this data is a little bit cherry-picked, but it's good to see nonetheless. December is historically a pretty strong month, and, at least so far, it's definitely running in line with its historical averages.
Yeah, if the SPY's up more than 10% at the halfway point of the year, that's pretty big, right? To see that December has been 100% up in the green since that point, so that's been good to see. Hopefully this stays true, Mike, because I've been really enjoying the move so far this December, right? This breakout has provided some amazing opportunities. We've been seeing great breakouts amongst many different companies, whether it's Apple and that good breakout that's been going on lately the past few days, whether it's Microsoft recovering up, or even NVIDIA recovering up as much as it has been lately. This was a great mover today as well. So, I really like these stats, Mike, and it's good to see that the Santa rally is sticking around. I can't ever go into December without talking about the Santa rally, but anytime you get a stat where something's green 100% of the time and it goes back this far, it definitely stands out.
No doubt. Well, Tom, looking at the S&P 500 for tomorrow, what are the key levels and analysis for SPY?
Yeah, we actually got pretty close to 608 around the end of day today, so that'll be on watch for tomorrow. I'll be watching 608 and 610 as resistances overhead. Today was amazing. In the early part of the morning, the SPY actually gapped up and passed the 605 resistance that we were watching. And a good thing about that is that it actually retested 605 in the middle of the day, bounced right off of it, and created a great buying opportunity. So for tomorrow, the big thing I'm watching for is a break of that high today, right around 608, and then I'll be watching the next resistance around 610 after that. I think you could play a high of day breakout, and even today, around like lunchtime, SPY was stuck, and then once Powell started speaking, we saw a great recovery, and once that high broke, we had a really good move. I really like playing these high of day breakouts, whether it's an intraday high of day breakout or even like the high of day from today. Some of these opportunities are getting pretty awesome there. As far as support, use 605 and 604, which was crucial over the past few days.
Tom, I have to say, these SPY analysis segments have been some of my favorite parts of these nightly videos. This information is so helpful, and it's really great. So shout out to you. And I also agree that 605 mark will be a crucial area of support. We did have multiple bounces off of that level today, which is worth noting. And it is a little bit of a psychological level. And like as we look at like the market as a whole right now, like the skies are mostly clear. There isn't any like real past resistance overhead because the market is higher than it's ever been before, which is a good thing. And lately it's just been like I don't even want to say like a slow grind higher because this uptrend has been pretty good. But yeah, we'll definitely keep a potential high of day break on the radar.
Yeah, and that's really the big thing right now. I really love those breakout opportunities, and I think like showing some of those examples like from today, how there was a really good double to triple top, and then we got that good opportunity around the afternoon. Opportunities like that in the middle of the day can be amazing. I saw a bunch of people playing that end of day breakout there, and I'll say the power hour players were definitely happy there today. That is for sure. One thing to worry about in the short term is if we do fall under that 604 to 605 mark, we might need to adjust a little bit, but of course the market's so hot right now, and we have tech going crazy as well. Like just going back to the heat map, whenever tech is this green, looking at the left side of the screen, the SPY is generally going to do pretty well.
No doubt. Just make sure no matter what, whether you're trading SPY, Bitcoin, Apple, NVIDIA, or anything else out there, don't bag hold losers. Keep them as small as possible and keep that reward risk view very positive. But besides that, Tom, let's get right into the good stuff for today, which are some setups and predictions. A stock that is definitely on my radar is Roku, and it is to the upside. It had a pretty good day today as it popped up by just under 10%, and it continued its uptrend from earlier this week. I liked the price action that it had, especially towards the beginning of the day. It did sell off a little bit in like the second half of the day, but nothing nothing too concerning. I would love to see like a retest of that like $85 area to maybe even like 86 for a potential breakout. And I'm really just looking for consistent pressure on its like intraday highs. If we can see that, I really like the reward to risk playing this one to the upside. But again, I do want to see this one get back to like that $85 to $86 area for a new potential breakout.
Yeah, that would be awesome. This thing ran up a ton today, and if it does break there tomorrow, I would definitely expect another good move, so I'll keep watching it. And with my first play today, I'm looking at ticker symbol MU. This is a bit of a different one than what we normally look at in the short term here. MU's been falling down quite a bit. It hasn't been as popular as it has been in the past, but in the short term, I do like the support bouncing right around 96.25, and there's also something else going on here that I think you guys are going to love, and that is a gap fill that just happened on MU, where it just filled the gap down to here, and it's also re-breaking back above $100. So I'll be watching for a nice recovery here. Of course, it'll be on watch for tomorrow, but even for the next few days, I really want to see a good break above that resistance from yesterday, right around a 103.70. If we could push past that, that's where I'll start to watch it a little bit harder. And of course, I'm even going to place an alert there as well. So watch that level for a break.
All right, sounds good. Another setup that is definitely on my radar is Celsius, CELH. I know I talked about this one a little bit in some of the recent videos, and it tried to show a little bit of upside price action today, but wasn't strong enough to truly hold those gains. Basically, Celsius is at a point where it's still pretty overextended to the downside, and it's in the the transition phase of, actually gaining some more positive price action from all of the brutal selling pressure that it has had over the past year. Basically, looking at Celsius right now, while it has no momentum, it is slowly, like I said, like shifting more towards like that bull side. Looking at Celsius, it's definitely on my radar for a bullish play, but it is not a quick moving stock that moves up by, let's say, 10% up or down each day. Most of the time it does like nothing, but every now and then we do see some really good price action with this one. So it's on my bullish radar, but this setup is more of one that'll take like, weeks to maybe months depending on how the PA unfolds.
Yeah, I think it's really a game of patience with this one, and I think the people who are patient on this play are the ones that are going to get rewarded. Of course, if you don't have patience, this one could be tough for you unless you catch it on an uptrend. But overall, Mike, I do like how it's starting to form a good base down around these levels, so I'll keep watching it as well. With my next setup, I'm looking at Coinbase in the short term, and yesterday we looked at Coinbase quite a bit. I'm still looking at that range that Coinbase was stuck in, but the good news is that it broke well out and above that range today. So shout out to Coinbase. You're having some great movement, and now we're right around recent resistance, and you can tell that that recent high is up right around the 340 to 344 mark. Now that is a huge level, and we can go see that on the Bookmap as well. At 340, there's around 36,000 shares stacked up there at the end of day today, and at the 335 mark there was around 17,000. So there's a couple levels to look for tomorrow. We do want to see a good break past 340. There could be an opportunity playing it up to these levels as well. But overall, I love the daily chart on Coinbase, Mike, and I want to see a good extension and push past that recent high. A lot of stocks are breaking out right now with a very similar pattern, and with how much hype these crypto stocks have, I could see these highs breaking in the short term. Of course, though, just be adaptable. If we see this high reject, you need to be willing to adapt on it.
That's the thing, because this is a key level coming up for Coinbase, and, if it breaks through this, it will be a phenomenal sign, but at the same time, if it cannot break through this resistance, you have to watch out, and you have to be quick to manage that position. So, yeah, this 340 area will be key for Coinbase, and I would even say it'll probably be, like, one of the most important points for the stock, probably for, like, the next couple of weeks at least.
Yeah, I would agree with you, because it's been so stuck in this range that whenever it breaks out, it'll almost remind me of like this breakout that happened in the past, right? Like where it runs up for a few really good days, then consolidates again. So I definitely agree with you there, Mike. We have a lot of fun plays in line for tomorrow. I can't wait for some of these momentum plays coming up too.
All right, well, let's get right to it then. With the first one, we have HIMS to the upside.
Yeah, HIMS is going crazy on the daily chart as well and just does not stop. If it can break the high of day from this morning right around 34.40, keep watching it up.
All right, with the next one, we have Block, also to the upside.
Block, you threw me off there. Ticker symbol SQ. They're almost to $100. So if we get that $100 break, watch them up.
All righty, and then with the last one, we have Snow, also to the upside.
Snowflake, let's get it right around 187. So I would say if they could break 187.50 tomorrow morning, then watch them to the upside as well.
All right, so we have Snow, Block, and Hims on the radar for potential upside plays tomorrow if and only if they break through the levels listed. The stronger and more consistent these stocks move, the better the setups become. Understand that these stocks are volatile, and to trade these properly, you have to be happy and more than willing to adjust and flow with the trend changes as they happen. Don't get caught holding the bag, but definitely keep these ones on the radar. They move in some pretty big ways, and they definitely have some momentum to them. But besides that, Tom, it is now about that time for today's $1.35 million big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol FTRE, which I bet is a stock that most people have never heard of before, and I don't blame you. FTRE is a pharmaceutical company, and basically the big money put $1.35 million into some bullish call plays on this one today. More specifically, they bought the 25 strike calls that expire on January 17th of 2025. For my advanced traders out there, this is technically a call debit spread where they also shorted the 30 strike calls. But going further, this is a $1.35 million trade. The more the stock goes up, the better it is for the big money trader here. FTRE is in the process of building some pretty strong momentum, as we can see by looking at the recent price action. And it does have some decent support lined up at this $23 area, $22.25, and even $20. Some resistance overhead is at that $24.50 to $25 area, $26, $26.70, and $28. But either way, looking at this stock in the short term, I really like how it's moving with strong momentum. Implied volatility is on the rise. It has strong relative volume, and I'm excited to see what this one ends up doing.
I am too, Mike, and whenever you look at this play, it's very interesting to me. Like you said, it is a call debit spread, so we do have to keep that in mind. It could get a little bit more advanced out there. I will say this one does seem a little bit risky. This stock is very volatile. A lot of the pharmaceutical plays are risky, and we do notice that they are usually pretty volatile, which is awesome sometimes, right? But at the same time, there's a little bit more added risk. So you might need to enter the play a little bit lighter. I do love that support at 20 overall. If it came down to retest that, obviously that would be a tough thing to see in the short term with these calls here. So I think the best case scenario with this one is to watch it over the next couple days. And I'm watching that 25 resistance. Once that breaks, this stock I think could start to break out in a huge way. It's just kind of stuck at that resistance right now. Over the next few days, we could see it break. Today was kind of the first big test of it since that rejection last time. So hopefully over the next few days, we're able to get some good momentum going and get a nice breakout here for the end of the year. This play doesn't have too much time as it expires January 17th, 2025.
So that makes it even more exciting. Yeah, it doesn't have that much time to it. So yeah, we'll definitely keep this one on the radar in the short term. And like you said, because it is a pharmaceutical stock, it has that little extra craziness to it, which is good and bad. So either way, keep this one on the radar going forward. But we also want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Chicken Duck, in the StockedUp trading floor. And he said made over 6K so far since joining this group. I want to thank the whole team for teaching me how to make secured profits day in and day out. Hope to make even more in the future. Thank you. And then he posted an awesome screenshot as well. So huge shout out to you, Chicken Duck, and keep on rolling. I think we're set for a very exciting end to 2024 and start of 2025. There's a lot going on in the market right now and just the world in general, and we're seeing some pretty crazy movement in a lot of different ways. So I think we're set for a pretty awesome short term, you can say. If you guys are new to the channel, consider obliterating that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. Basically, every single day, we cover the most important news, information, earnings, events, big money trades, setups to keep on your radar, and stats and charts that you would never otherwise see. So if you want to see more of our videos, hit that subscribe button and you'll get them recommended to you you more often. Besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and let's crush it in the market tomorrow.